I am the land beneath your feet, and I'm bleeding. I am the soil you crush with your boots and your greed, the roots you paved over, the rivers you dammed, the air you thickened with smoke and ambition. I am not a myth. I am not your flag. I am not your politics. I am not red. I am not blue. I am the land, and I remember everything. Chapter 1. I remember when you came. I remember your first steps, barefoot and trembling, a stranger, reaching out with calloused hands and hungry eyes. You came to me with promises on your tongue and blood on your blades. You called me virgin. You called me empty. But I was neither. I was already alive, breathing with the buffalo, pulsing with the roots of 1,000 nations. From the Lakota of the plains to the Choctaw of the South, from the Wampanoag who welcomed you to the Apache who resisted you. I was theirs before you rewrote the story. And yet you carved your names into my skin like love letters written with steel. You built railroads that split my ribs, cities that tore open my veins. You drained my wetlands like wringing the tears from a grieving widow, and called it progress. Chapter 2. I watched you build a dream. And oh, how you dreamed. You planted seeds of freedom in my soil, and watered them with hope. You built towns of timber and steel, told stories of liberty and justice. You said, "Give me your tired, you're poor," but built walls when they came. I held them too. The Italians, the Irish, the Chinese railroad workers. Their sweat soaked into me like prayers. Their stories are etched in the bricks of every forgotten tenement. But you whispered of the American dream while lynching it. From the branches of southern trees, you drew lines. Black, white, brown, rich, poor, legal, illegal. And every line you drew was another wound I had to carry. Chapter 3. I housed your wars. I heard the Civil War long before the first cannon fired. It rumbled in the cotton fields, in the heartbeat of every man held in chains. I still hear the cries of children sold like cattle. Still feel the fire from Sherman's march down my spine. Still taste the gunpowder in Gettysburg's air. You buried your sons in my chest. North and South, brothers in death. You said it was for unity, but you never really healed. You just built statues over the scars. Then came more wars. Abroad and at home. World Wars I and II. I watched your daughters build bombers, while your sons died on beaches. Vietnam. I tasted Agent Orange. In my rivers when your protest songs filled the streets. I watched your tears fall during 9/11. I held the ashes of towers and the silence that followed. And every time, you said never again. But I've learned not to believe you. Chapter 4. I am more than just land. You see dirt. I see generations. You see mountains. I see guardians. You see oil fields. I see sacred ground. You see real estate. I see history. My forests once whispered to the stars. Now they choke on smoke and silence. My oceans once danced with whales. Now they groan under plastic and oil spills. My skies once stretched pure and boundless. Now they flicker with satellites, drones, and surveillance. I am not your resource. I am not your bottom line. I am not a backdrop for your ambitions. I am alive, and I am bleeding. Chapter 5. You bury your truths. You paved over Wounded Knee. You forgot Tulsa. You erased Rosewood. You sterilized Puerto Rico. You poisoned Flint. You built suburbs while redlining the rest. You called it zoning. I call it segregation in a three-piece suit. You filled prisons with bodies. Mostly black. Mostly brown. You militarized your police. You armed your schools. You teach history like a bedtime story, safe, sanitized, sterile. But I remember the screams. I remember the fire hoses and the dogs. I remember Selma and Ferguson and George Floyd's last breath sinking into my streets. You forget. I don't. Chapter 6. I carry your children. The ones in cages. The ones born under bridges. The ones poisoned by lead. Or forgotten in classrooms where bullets speak louder than books. The ones who dream in 2 languages. Who pray in silence. Who march with cardboard signs and broken hearts. I hear their footsteps. They walk lighter, but wiser. They know the soil is sick. They know I'm bleeding. And they ask, can we still save her? Chapter 7. I am not your enemy. I never asked for monuments. I never needed flags. I never wanted blood. I just wanted respect. I wanted you to walk gently. To listen when I whisper through the wind. To plant more than you destroy. To tell the truth, even when it hurts. You fight each other like there's only one truth. But I hold millions. The truth of the immigrant. The truth of the native. The truth of the slave. The truth of the soldier. The truth of the child. All buried inside me. If only you'd listen. Chapter 8. I can still heal. Yes, I'm bleeding. Yes, I ache. Yes, I've been torn apart by your wars, your politics, your silence. But I can still bloom. I am the soil. And soil remembers how to grow. Plant seeds of justice. Tend them with compassion. Water them with truth. Teach your children the songs you were too afraid to sing. Let them read books that make them uncomfortable. Let them cry for things you buried. Let them dig up the bones of your mistakes. Not to shame you, but to learn. I can still be beautiful, but not without your help. Chapter 9. Listen to my final words. I am America. Not the anthem. Not the eagle. Not the flag. I am the land. The dirt under your nails. The dust in your lungs. The heartbeat beneath the pavement. And I am bleeding. But in every drop is a chance. A choice. You can keep digging. Or you can start healing. Because I am still listening. Still hoping. Still here. I am the land beneath your feet. And if you finally decide to kneel, not in defeat, but in reverence, I just might stop bleeding.